Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be Astrology Tarot Periodical, as I'm calling this playlist now that I've redone it. I've been planning on doing this reading since probably October. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it, and then all of the other things. So this is going to be a year overview with my 13-seat clock calendar reading. And my new pricing and advertising for the tarot readings that you can purchase for me, a personal reading, it's not listed, but it is available. It's sort of a seasonal thing, so I didn't want it on the permanent ad. So it's arranged like a clock, and then there's this 13th slot in the middle that's sort of an overview or a wrap-up, or however one would want to do that. And then it looks at the next 12 months, typically. So in my listing, I had it in my notes that reading is $88. I had put in one of the posts that I made somewhere that for the time being that I wanted to have this reading be $77 hairs. So if you want one, now's the time to get one. And you might be like, well, the new year has already started. But I kind of did this last year just by happenstance, but it's falling in line more with the lunar calendar, and I'm fine with that. We don't always have to be tied to the sun. So we are going to be entering the year of the rabbit, roundabout the 23rd of January. So I have a piece of paper here because I wanted to draw a little picture. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this from memory, and then yesterday I cheated and I looked online a little bit just to make sure that my memory was accurate, and it kind of wasn't. I don't know how well I'm going to draw this, but I'm going to try. So typically the rabbit is a sort of timid character, and it's one that's always looking out for predators, and it's saying like, oh no, someone's gonna get me, you know, I better, like, I'm late for an important date. Like, I just know someone's gonna get me. And the eagle can hear this, and the eagle says, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Why don't I come and get you? To lunch on... Why is one ear bigger than the other? And that's coming from the description that's in the Wild Unknown Tarot. No, the Wild Unknown Animal Spirits. I almost had that right. No! This one doesn't have much of an eraser left on it, but we're gonna... I should have gotten the big chunky eraser. It's all smeared now. That's alright, I'm gonna turn him into an envelope anyway. This is what happens when you draw characters that you haven't drawn since 1996. Alright, so I think this is like this. Kind of. We're gonna pretend. So my point is that why does the rabbit always have to be a scaredy cat? And the way that that arm is terrible. The way that I'm getting it is more that the rabbit is sort of a trickster. And you see the rabbit in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. The rabbit is dangerous there. Nasty big pointy teeth. Look at the bones. Why is he muscular? Whatever, he's been working out. See, the rabbit's been getting swole. He's not afraid anymore. He's been taking Taekwondo. I should have a little bit. Does he have whiskers? I think he has whiskers. Let's go like this. Close enough. Okay. That's too much. This is so terrible. I wish it's like it would have been easier if it was something I'd drawn 800 times, like Ariel. Okay. So the rabbit doesn't always have to be like terrified of everything. The rabbit can be a trickster. The rabbit can be dangerous. That middle thing looks fucked up. I'm glad I used this instead of the pen. That would have been awful. Nope. Still wrong. I'm doing this. He's contrapposto. No, as if I knew how to do anything. Okay, here we go. The big finish over here. Oh no! No, okay. So the point is that the rabbit... There we go. Okay, that's probably still wrong. I got that wrong. Alright. If you got him on Wish, this is what he would look like. Why does he have such big shoulders? Well, anyway, he's been working out. Oh, why isn't he holding... I should make him holding a carrot. Or like a banana, because this is the off-brand. You never know what you're gonna get. It has to have a bite out of it, too. Oh, that's gonna look wrong. Okay, I'm just gonna make it not open, because it's gonna be gross if I don't. Like the worst banana ever. He's got the T pinky going. Okay. Nope. I don't like that. I don't like it. There we go. That's a little better. No. Oh. This is... I did not plan this way. Okay. We'll get into it in a minute. Okay, so the rabbit... That's better. As a trickster. With his not a carrot. Alright, whatever. Worst arm ever. If you can't draw it, just hide it behind the rest of the body. Okay. Whatever. Still wrong. So many levels. Okay. Slightly better. Okay. Okay. All right. It's kind of... So this is off-brand character. So we have Arachnid Rabbit. I thought of this last night. I worked this whole thing out. So we're dealing with a rabbit who is... He's not necessarily malicious, he's just sort of chaotic. Chaotic energy. And it sets a different tone for the rest of 2023 and into 2024. There's a shift in the energy from fear to... I'm going to come up with creative solutions to my problems, to aggression, to defense while I'm in the situation. You know, like I'm literally gonna pull something out of my ass. And I've been watching some Merry Melodies and Looney Tunes lately, and I found out that I always remember Bugs Bunny as winning, but sometimes he doesn't always win. And I thought that was interesting. And if you put it in a certain order, you can see that there were times when he was still getting knocked down, but starting to work on the new process of overcoming obstacles and not always tackling problems in the same manner that they present to you. So if Elmer Fudd is after Bugs Bunny, he's got his hunting equipment. Bugs Bunny isn't also going to come in with the same hunting equipment, the same artillery, the same arms. He might put flowers in Elmer Fudd's gun. He might tie it in a bow. He might hide it behind a tree and pretend he's the gun and make silly noises. And there's also this idea of adding humor to tackle obstacles. Because if something ends up being completely stupid, then it's no longer terrifying or completely challenging. It changes the perspective and how you look at stuff. So these are the lessons that we learn here from Arachnid Rabbit. And I don't know if we want to look at this garbage the whole time, because this is terrible. Probably going to turn him into an envelope unless you really, really want this awful drawing. You're welcome to it. So, that's so funny. Even drawing it that stupid is funny. Because obviously it was just looking at the table while doing that. So I pulled the cards already, and I gotta set them up in the little wheel formation. Otherwise, what's the point? Now, where am I? Some of these ended up in the challenge position. So I'm starting with Aquarius because the year of the rabbit starts basically like a couple days after Aquarius. So put that in the 1 o'clock. And then Pisces. Oh wait, hang on. That's wrong. This goes this way. Pisces. I don't know if I have enough room for this. I've got these other rocks here too. Just sprinkle them. Nope. Just sprinkle them in the middle. Okay, so this is 1, 2. Should turn this whole pile. There we go. All right, 3. Ah. 3. Why is that going the other way? Oh, because some of them are upside down. 4. 8. Sorry, Virgo. 9. Move that over a little bit. 10. You gotta make sure you got enough counter space, table or floor or bed to do a clock calendar reading, because unless you get all of your cards are little itty bitty ones like the mini rider weight here. Oh my god. Speaking of Elmer Fudd. Speaking of Elmer's glue. Why? Wow, this is a lopsided clock. What the hell's going on here? What the hell? Alright, that's better. Do you know what time it is? Ooh. Oh, I like that. Reminds me of the Pleiades. Okay. Let me see if I can get this whole thing in here. Beautiful. Okay. Oh, yeah, it helps if I put these upright. As if I knew what I was doing. Why you gotta do me like that, Pisces? Okay. point out too that the shirt that I'm wearing, I'm not gonna move like the camera all around. I'll just insert a picture of it, but you can see the sleeves. This is the long sleeve hoodie t-shirt that's in my cafe press shop, and it's gonna vary from design to design. Not all of them have this because I redid my whole cafe press recently. Quality shirt, I like it. We're gonna start with Aquarius and we'll get through it. I think I'm gonna be adding some crystal, like, jewelry, for lack of better word, to my Etsy shop soon, because I made a little bracelet for my mom for Christmas, and my, I guess, cousin, semi-distant cousin, sent me some fishing line and some not quite fishing line, which is gonna help me string up the smaller beads, crystal beads. So I'm gonna, and I got a few pieces of leather, so I'm gonna be doing that also as soon as I get around to it, because I have like 14 different things that I want to do now, and that's not quite, can't do everything at once. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Congratulations to the winners of the awards. Okay, so you're the rabbit, arachnid rabbit, the trickster and comedian. Ooh, that reminds me of the clown. The clown in the, what the hell is it called? Come on, brain. Do the words, not the pictures. The, round card. Splashy cutter. I think it's called the comedian in the wild unknown archetypes. There we go. The disconnect. Okay. So for the overview, oh, and this is the mini Rider-Waite. This is the grand Gilded Reverie Lenormand, and then I've got the Radley Valentine Angel deck here. Okay, no, this was sideways and this one here. Okay. So we have the High Priestess, Moon Energy, which is weird because usually I see her as Pisces, but Moon Energy right under this crescent moon. So when you see the High Priestess, she's got a tapestry behind there. There's some tapestry. There's a few wall tapestries in my cafe press shop. Pretty sure I've got some in there still. Anyway, and also on my wall, which I'm not going to show you, I have a tapestry of the cover of Abbey Road, which was expensive and I got a long time ago. With a High Priestess with the moon, it tells me that, I mean, in some cases we could be dealing with fear, like with the rabbit. And what's weird is that I rewatched, I haven't seen it in probably, it's got to be over 30 years, but on the free YouTube movies, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? And it's not like as exciting or amazing as I thought when I was little, but considering they were using sort of new technology to make it, it's impressive for what they achieved. It's, you know, it's just a little film noir, but there's sort of intrigue in the rabbit is in sort of a victim, but finds ways to be more brave, and in some respects, aspects of infusing situations with comedy. In essence, the way that the villain was defeated was through comedy. Sort of the same way that if you're upset in any way, shape, or form, laughing creates endorphins, which reduces stress. But another thing with the High Priestess here is that with this moon energy, it's like I'm divining secrets, uncovering hidden things with my intuition. I'm gaining great spontaneous knowledge. All right, let's look at this card. Okay. So this is... I don't remember what this card is called in particular. It's a public garden representing a meeting place. Why do I want to call it the library? Anyway, we have a public meeting place. It's like things that are hidden in plain sight. You know, it's like not necessarily out in the open, but it's not hidden either. We have the energy of Eight of Swords here, which is sort of uncovering yourself from your own weakly instituted boundaries, right? I've taken the tape off my eyes, and now I'm looking at stuff. And it's in the challenge position, so it's something that's actively happening. You know, it's like I've been stuck in this same pattern. I've had my horse blinders on, which is an even better concept. I put these horse blinders on whether I knew I did it or not, and now I'm opening up my view to something that was there all the time. Alright, the High Priestess here. Notice how similar these shapes are. I have like a lancet shape here with this tall dome on top of this cylinder, and then I have a lancet shape here between the two pillars. Was it Boaz and Joachim, I think? Alright. So, and then we have the Four of Earth, also in the challenge position. So this one says... I don't know if that's focused for you from where... that is. But, so, kind of here. It says, being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, giving to those less fortunate. Oh, look at this. I have 4, I have 20, I have 8, and I have 2. These are divisions, like doublings. It makes me think of cell division, like meiosis and mitosis, which is in the Angel Oracle deck that I'm working on, I believe. Where? Oh, let me get it out here. I keep telling myself I'm not going to show people these cards until they're done because, like, what if somebody tries to steal them? Oh. But then you won't, you know, you don't have the original anyway, so whatever. Alright, so in my... I got these... I haven't worked on it for a while because I ran out of ultra fine point black Sharpie and it's been a struggle. Oh, I did use him. Okay. Let me go back here. Was he number 9 or number 7? Number 9? Number 9? Number 9. He is number 9. Okay. Cytokinesis. That's what we wanted. Okay. Put this here. Hope it doesn't knock all of them onto the goddamn floor. So here's Sandalphon. Now, in the Angel deck, Sandalphon is on the 5. What the hell is it called? I love it when my brain just shuts off. Sometimes my brain is nonverbal, and it makes it hard to communicate. The Hierophant card, which is, what the hell? Let me see if it's in here. It might be on the board already. Let me see if I can find it. It's called Unity. Pretty sure. I don't know why I'm Nelson Mandela all of a sudden. Oh, here it is. Beep. I don't plan on getting extra cards for all of these piles, but we're still doing the year overview for the year of the year of the Wabbit. Alright. So here's my Sandalphon. He's got a lab coat on. He's got cell division. He's got a yin-yang ball there. So we have things like doubling, splitting in half. Like, am I finally going to start getting some abundance? Because, in this... So I'm recording this... I guess I'll leave him there for a minute. I'm recording this on the 12th of January. And yesterday I had to help a family member with transportation to an appointment. And it took a long time. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, what's today? It's 1/11/23. That's 3 ones in a row. But I was thinking, well, you can't have 0 months. So if I take the month, instead of saying it's month 1, if I say it's month 0, then I have 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, which is the beginning of the Fibonacci sequence. And that's a spiral. So if I've been in a place where my business or whatever I'm trying to achieve is creating 0 abundance, I'm not being recognized, I'm not earning any money, like what the hell's going on here? Which is kind of where I've been sitting for a long time. And then you get, like personally, and then you get, 1, like, oh, finally something. And then you get 1. I'm like, like I can't seem to break through this barrier. But here we have finally the 2. We have, now there's twice as much. There's an expansion. There's a birthing. All right, so there's something starting to come out. The reality is coming out. The truth is coming out. I'm coming out of my shell. Right? I used to be one-dimensional. Now I'm 2-dimensional. I'm not a one-trick pony. Where the hell was I? My brain just drifted into space again. Oh, I know. I was going with the Fibonacci sequence. So what we're seeing here is a point in time where things are doubling. If we were going to continue the Fibonacci sequence, the next note would be 3. Now, Sandalphon is on the 5 card here. And what I've got here is the High Priestess. I have the 2. We have these other numbers here saying we're doubling. Now, 20 is divisible by 2, by 10, by 4, and by 5. And we're not necessarily concerned that much. But if I say I've got a 4 card here, I've got a 20 card here, 4 times 5 is 20. But it's sort of like only parts of the numbers of the sequence are there. Right? It's 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. 13 is a death cycle. And then it's like 21, I think. 8 and 13, 21. And so on. So it starts ramping up. And you see with a spiral like that the numbers will start getting bigger. But you can't just skip ahead on the spiral. You have to travel through it. And I think there's this idea of stagnation and fear that nothing's ever going to change. But once the energy is rolling, it's kind of like a snowball. I also see, in talking about this Hierophant card, the 5, I usually think of it as the High Priestess and the Empress combined, or the Magician and the Emperor combined. So the High Priestess is my spiritual side is on point, and the Empress, my abundance, my material world. I've mastered the 4 elements in the physical plane is on point. I'm creative. I've given birth to my idea, to my business, to my life, to me as a person. And now I'm starting to, you know, figure shit out on a mental and spiritual level. And then I'm going to get this unity, which is here. I'm expanding, I'm growing, I'm regenerating. Cytokinesis here with Sandalphon. Alright, so I gotta put this back in my stack so it doesn't get all fingery greasy with the other ones. Oh, 23. I'm a little bit... the last card I did is 23. It's 2023. I got this guy. A little sneak peek here. This one... No, this is 23 card at Israfel is mutation. And we're looking at DNA again. We're changing the plans. Restructuring. Okay. So those are my cards. And, you know, it's one of those things, too. It's like I can't finish my cards because I can't afford to get a Sharpie. And I've got to make sure that these don't dry out before I can afford to replace them, too. So it's, you know, and it's like, well, I can't make any money on the cards until I get them done. And it's part of that, like, oh no, I'm trapped on the 0, I'm trapped on the 1, and I can't move forward. Like, what am I gonna do? But it's like, you have to, the High Priestess is saying, like, you can't stay in that mindset. Like, one of these things that happened, you know, I was like a couple panic attacks in, and I was like, how am I gonna get my head around this? Like, I can't stay in this mindset. Like, I'm gonna, like, screw up my energy. And I was listening to another tarot reader, and I was working on some stuff on my YouTube channel while I was doing that. And I finally had this thought roll through my head, the High Priestess, the great spontaneous knowledge. You don't exist to pay bills. You know, it's like, if your focus is like, I have to, like, I only need resources for this thing specifically, it's like, well, is that your life purpose? Like, no, I need money so that I can finish creating products and services that will help other people sort of align with themselves. You know, it's like, I'm creating space, I'm creating tools, I'm creating templates, I'm creating the artwork that shows the concepts, I'm creating stuff that's bright and or exciting to sort of change the energy in the space, those kinds of things. So it's like, I'm not making stuff just to get money. It's like, that's not input. It's like, I'm making stuff to have a flow, right? And the way that that happens in the material world right now is money. So it's like, I need the abundance so that I can fuel the expansion, right? The cells need fuel to grow. And if I want a growth, you know, where it comes out of the bud and it's like, ooh, it's pretty, like, now I feel better, like, it smells good, I'm having aromatherapy, you know, and then when it, you know, I'm using when the flower has died and is all dried up, then I can take the petal and I can, you know, press it, dried flowers, make more art, create something new, and continue the energy down the line. I can take the flower when it's still vibrant, I can mash it up, I can squeeze the color out of it, and I can use that as paint for something else. And, you know, we're not doing like flower torture here, but there's things in that can be expanded. We can take the energy somewhere that it hasn't been yet. So I lost my film there, and hopefully that's where I left off. And I was gonna say, the when we're talking about the Fibonacci sequence, we're looking at a spiral, right? The golden spiral, and it starts small and it gets bigger quite quickly. But if we're looking at something three-dimensional, and we say spiral, what we really mean is a vortex. And I have a spiral here with these three marbles in it. Okay. And I noticed too that there's not just one, there's three of them. There's an energy being created. There's something forming here in the vortex. And that's what's happening with this 2023 energy. My best friend made this as a crafting experiment, and I wasn't sure what I was going to be doing with it, and I've been looking at it for a while I've been reading, so here it has found its purpose, which is exactly what we're talking about here. Okay, so I think I'm finally ready to go on to Aquarius. I had to change the battery and take the SD card out and figure out where I left off, because I realized that it was no longer filming, and I was like, oh my god. I was like really like in the flow there. Like, I hope I didn't lose all of that. Oh, and also, speaking of spiral, instead of just trying to do an air, I put one of these up here in the interim. So we have a spiral right here, right? The kind of a golden spiral, right? Smaller, smaller, and then the expansion really starts getting much bigger quickly. But you don't think you're going anywhere when you're just stuck on the point there. This is what this whole thing is about. I'll put these back. I put them. Okay, water and then Aquarius. I'm gonna bring this into the reading too. Little jar of sparkles that my BFF gave me. I hope some of this is in focus, because can't friggin' tell. Are we still? I guess it could be a little better. Nope. Okay. This is my marker. Alright, so we're finally ready to read Aquarius. This is going to be a long-ass reading. It's just probably why I haven't done it yet. So Aquarius. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, which is the 5th dimension. Oh! Alright, so we have the Knight of Swords inverted. The Knight is 11. No, Knight is 12. What the hell? Knight inverted tells me the Hanged Man, which would give in some Pisces energy, which is what the High Priestess normally is for me. Where's the Knight of Swords? My cheat sheet that I made. Knight of Swords. He's got a frog in his throat. Or they've got a frog in their throat, let's put it that way. Taurus and Gemini. Okay, so that's kind of like on the border between the 5 and the 6. The Lovers and the Hierophant. And it's sort of like on the edge of healing, like on the edge of 17. Who, baby, who? Okay. Is this one? Hang on. This was like this, so I think they're both kind of cockeyed. Oh, this was upside down. I put it there. That's weird. Notice there's an 8 on here. Infinity. Almost infinite. But it's opening up. Number 7 with the Queen of Wands. That's that 13 I was talking about. 7 isn't part of the Fibonacci sequence, but it is It is a prime number. It's not divisible by anything but 1 in itself. I think the prime number sequence is probably also a spiral. This is usually like a poison card, and it just sort of, it's like Rainbow Road. I gotta see what the other card is before I finish this. Let me put these down for a second. Strength, Archangel Ariel. This is 11 in this deck, so I've got... And I tried to say the night was 11. 11, 12, 13. We're trying to make another sequence. We're trying to create another pattern, another expansion. There's the rainbow. Right the fuck there. Rainbow Road. Throwing turtle shells at everybody. Okay, this one has a tiger on it. We were just in the year of the tiger. Ah! Now, 2022 had Gemini energy. That was the year of the lovers. 2023... Why is that? Should be a 7. Which is the Chariot. But here, he's not fucking going anywhere. Aquarius. This is giving me He-Man vibes. Battle Cat. The Ariel's drawn as a lady here, which is kind of weird. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put in the corner or whatever of this video my painting of Ariel that's for sale in my Etsy shop as part of a set. Because there's a duality there, right? I have it's not like split personality, but it's like there's me, and then I'm like in my other form, right? I'm material, but I'm also spiritual, right? So material, I'm a human being, B-E-A-N, and then in spiritual, like I have a more animalistic form. So what this knight is doing, it's like I'm trying to connect to my animal form and not feel like... It's like I'm tired of biting my own tail. And it's not like I'm toxic. It's like I'm trying to connect to... It's not really the higher self, though. It's like I'm trying to connect to a more instinctual version of myself than one that is wholly tied to the material world. Fire and fire and air. This is kind of a lot of fire for Aquarius. It's like I'm... And if you think... Is Aquarius and Leo, are they opposites? Is that what I'm doing? Because this is Leo energy. Yeah, Leo and Aquarius are opposites. So it's, again, it's that duality. It's like me and my shadow. And it's like, in this case, Aquarius's shadow is Leo energy. And it's like, well, if Aquarius's shadow is the sun, then is Aquarius the moon? But Aquarius is Uranus energy. It's like deep space versus the center of everything. You know, I'm like floating around out here, not telling anybody what's going on. You know, I'm taking for fucking ever to get around to explaining myself to people. And it's not like you have to explain yourself. It's just, like, I haven't articulated anything that I really want, that I really desire, because I've been afraid to, you know, I've been afraid to go after what I really want because I've been dealing with the material. But there's nothing material going on here. It's everything but. And there isn't really any water either. You know, it's like I'm cut off from my emotions because I've been solely dealing with the material world. But this is all about an inner strength to sort of express your desires. Because here it's like doing, you know, whatever direction this card wants to go in. I've been in a place where I've been cutting myself off at the knees by not following my sort of internal guidance system. All right, so that's Aquarius. Okay, so Pisces, we have Justice, which is 11 in this deck. So we're seeing this 1-1 again, this kind of static place in the spiral. But it's also 11, which is universal timing. This is saying something's not fair. I'm stuck and it's not fair. I'm in a challenged position. Alright, so we have the Book inverted with 10 of Pentacles inverted. Yeah, I see what's going on here. The meaning changes for this depending on where it ends up in a grid, but we're not doing a grid here. This is, I've followed the directions, I followed the recipe, I did what everyone else did, but I'm not getting my 10 Pentacles. I'm not getting material abundance. This isn't fair. You notice also that I've started another sequence, right? 10, 11. And I had 11, 12, 13 over there. It's sort of like a countdown that's still trying to, you know, right? Like 11, 12, 13. And then the next number on the countdown is like the next unit on the countdown is a sequence. And I would want to see like 10, 11, 12. But here we have 10. So we have two 10s and an 11. Right? I have 0, 1, 0, 1. I keep trying to restart. And then I have 1, 1. But it's all kind of cockeyed and like in challenge and not moving. 10 of Wands. This is the burden. Right? Like, why is this so fucking hard? Too much work. Accept help from others. Not accept, like I'm willing to take it, not accept, like there's no. Accept help from others. Life is out of balance, right? In the challenge position. Things are, you know, not really balanced. Stress-related health concerns. Well, let me tell you about that. This looks exactly, oh my god, this looks exactly like what Aquarius is getting. Right, there's a figure 8 here, and he's not quite biting his tail again. What the frig? If you skipped over Aquarius, Pisces, you should go back and watch that, because this is the same situation. Red. A lot of red. Justice is Libra, that's air. 10 of Pentacles is, what the fuck that is. Mercury and Virgo, that's air. This is, okay, Pisces is a little different. Aquarius has sort of been doing the physical stuff and struggling with the more spiritual stuff. Here we see Pisces is like, hey, I've been trying to do the physical stuff and it's not working. Like, why am I burnt out? This isn't fair. You know, and it's like Pisces kind of in their emotions as the water sign. Like, kind of, which is weird because they're taking on this sort of Aquarian energy of overthinking. I really wish somebody would stop banging cans around in the background because it's fucking annoying. So, I see this sort of like limey green color here, and it's also here. Not quite exactly the same, but oh, kind of here though. It's like I'm in my mind on my money and my money on my mind, and it's all like in my emotions, but I'm not talking about my emotions. I'm like once bitten, twice shy. I'm like, what's going on here? Sort of seems sort of like Aquarius and Cancer mixed together, but Pisces is sort of dreamy, right? It's like everything's a nightmare. Like, what's going on? This isn't fair. You know, I'm like Sisyphus rolling the rock up the hill, and then, like, as soon as I almost get it up there, it's like, no, start over. So we see that energy here. So we have Aries energy. Now, I have been getting indications that things are going to be picking up in Aries season. We're looking at end of March, beginning of April. This sort of, you know, springtime when things are in bloom. They're opening up. And just in terms of energy, Aries is something that, like, has... It looks like, if you're old enough, you remember the Skip It. It's got, you know, it's got the loop on it, and then it's anchored in one spot, and it's expanding outwards. Right, so here's my anchor, and my energy is going outwards. Right, I'm trying to get over here. It's like a barnacle penis. Gross. Although, sort of appropriate for Aries, because we have that, like, masculine life force kind of energy. Am I recording? Is this on camera? Yes, flip over the card. Flip over the card, Teresa. Act like you know what you're doing. We have the Strength card. Aries with Leo energy. So we're in fire. Is that? Oh, that one was in the challenge position. Okay. Orange. Alright, so we're seeing the same kind of energy here. I see an infinity loop here that's connected. Aquarius and Pisces, sort of open loops. Now, a lot of the time, too, when I see an infinity symbol... I'll use these two little ones. I see it like... just imagine these two little flowers are a sphere. And when I open it up, I have a figure... I have a shape of an 8. Right? You can see that. And the infinity loop traces the shape of the 8. And what that tells me is that my world, like if this is an Earth, my world is opening. So when I see especially when it's connected, right? If it's like this over here, like, uh-oh, I'm unhinged. So we see that happening here. But this is a number 8. But even the 8, again, the 8 is the infinity. And we see the 8 is part of the Fibonacci sequence, right? 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Alright, so we have the sky, the clouds are parting, the sky is clearing, King of Wands. Now, 6, if I wanted to say 6 wands, that's a victory card. That's Leo energy. Right? It's, what is it? Jupiter and Leo? Yeah, Jupiter and Leo. Right? 6 wands would be luck is on my side. The King of Wands is, you know, I'm slow burning. I've mastered my internal fire. The strength in the challenge position is, you know, a little kind of like chomping at the bit. Like I can't, you know, like I don't know my own strength. I keep breaking stuff. You know, like I haven't gotten used to the expansion yet. It's sort of like I was a little kid and I fell into a coma and I woke up and, you know, my muscles didn't atrophy and now I'm bigger and I don't know. Oh, you know what? That's not right. Okay. It's like a walk-in. Like, I hit my head when I was little, and, like, my consciousness like went somewhere and some other entity came into my body and was like walking around, and everyone's like, so and so isn't the same as they used to be, like what's going on here? And then like one day I'll have like a terrible migraine, and the next day I'll wake up and I don't know that I've been gone for 10 years, and all of a sudden I'm an adult, and you know, every time I pick something up I break it because I'm not used to having bigger muscles. That's what this is like. Nine of fire. So we have all fire here for Aries. Sagittarius. The moon in Sagittarius. Okay. So the moon inverted tells me sun energy. Then we have Sagittarius. So we have everything but Aries. I mean, the King of Wands is kind of Aries. Yeah, he's specifically Aries and Taurus. Okay, so that's where he's there. Taurus is that energy of the Hierophant that I was talking about for the year overview. This is I'm not stuck in my station anymore. All right, this is I'm holding the fort. Like, how much fucking longer do I have to be here? And this is I'm free to move. The clock is ticking. Ooh. Don't give up. Protect that which you've created. Have courage and believe in yourself. So the strength is coming. It's like, you know what? I think I might actually be able to do this. Like, things are opening up for me. Like, I'm not losing anymore. I'm starting to win. And this is sort of important for Aries because Aries holds the Emperor energy, right? It's like I'm finally gaining a foothold on my inner self, my core being. Like, I'm finally coming into myself. And the Emperor energy is sort of like, this is my last kingdom that I needed to collect. You know, like I did the material world, I did the thoughts, I did the emotions, and now I need to like be who I am. Although if you haven't had any abundance, you might not be getting that material world stuff. But here it's sort of, you know, we don't see the Emperor explicitly. We see like, you know, I've got part of my, you know, I've got, again, the Trivial Pursuit, when you get the wedges and the little pie thing, it's like I've got another wedge in my pie. I'm heading closer to the middle of the board. You know, it's like I'm on my way. What's that song? Peter Frampton or something. It's like and you know, there's this, like, I just turned 40. So I'm very aware of this Emperor energy of the number 4. With this sort of 0, which I kept thinking, like, is that the Fool? But I mean, the Fool is the beginning of the journey. And you see the 0 at the beginning of the Fibonacci sequence. So, you know, it's the beginning of the spiral. And I was just thinking, it's like the beginning of the downward spiral. And I'm like, that's kind of depressing. And the Fool jumping off the cliff, like, wee, like, splat. Like, Wile E. Coyote. But now I'm seeing it less as the Fool of, like, oh my god, do I have to start over? Do I have to, like, you know, be open to anything? Do I have to, like, be, like, a noob and bewildered and stuff and, like, not know what the fuck I'm doing? Like, but I see it definitely as sort of, like, you know, it can take a long time to get to the Emperor energy. Like, numbers divisible by 4. We're doing another sequence. No, so, again, that 0, it's like, I've been stuck at the 0 point for a long time. But this is going to help me gain that expansion. If I add the 0 in front of the 4 in front of the 0, like, now I've got something. Although I don't think 40 is part of the sequence. But it's, if we go back here to the 20, we see that if I want 40, it's coming off. It's like it's expanding from that, right? 2 times 20 is the 40. But that's not here explicitly. I've only got the king right now, which is 14. But 14 breaks down to 5, which is this again. Right, I'm in a... It's like I'm working back and forth between materiality and spirituality, and I'm getting somewhere in terms of confidence and sense of purpose. Right, so that's Aries. Springtime. So we get Taurus. So we have a tilty card, the King of Pentacles. So this relates to the theme again, is like I'm trying to manifest, and this is like everything sucks, like why is nothing, like it's like I can't even give my stuff away. And this is like, holy crap, starting to move. So we see at the beginning of the spiral, there's very slow movements, right? The angle is smaller. But when things start to go, then it's sort of like, now I'm going like 40 degrees at a time, and then I'm going like 132 degrees. 132.5. So this is saying I've been out of balance in the material world, and like everything's slipping through my fingers. What the fuck? But we do see a 5 here. 14 breaking down to 5. We have a shift or a pivot, and we see that because the card came out crooked. You didn't see it come out crooked, but when I shovel it out, it did. This one is crookedy too in the same way. So we have 16, the stars. In Lenormand is slightly different than the star in regular tarot. I have 6 of Cups here. This is sort of like a soul contract. It's written in the stars. There's sort of like a nostalgic quality to it. And with it slightly tilted, it's like, this is sort of like I'm out of alignment. I also just heard phase shift. Okay, okay. So when you're doing, if you're dating monuments to constellations, if you see like a certain degree shift of what it's obviously aligned to, like, I don't know. What is that? I can't remember any monuments besides the fucking pyramids right now. But, I mean, the pyramids are arranged to Orion's belt. We see 3 stars here, so I may as well use that as an example. And it's like, well, it's the same exact ratio of distance between these and Orion's belt. Like, there's some other, like, we can see this thing over here is supposed to be Sirius. This thing over here is supposed to be Leo. So, like, why is it tilted away from where it is in the sky? It's like, well, if you roll back the clock, which would be this 6 of Hearts, the sun in Scorpio, it would say, like, this is when this was made, right? This is when the contract was made. You see 16 here, which is another number in that sort of 4 sequence, and I see 6 here. And neither one of these numbers are part of Fibonacci, but it's sort of saying, like, this is another pattern. It's Pentacles, King of Pentacles. Oh, I did the last one wrong. King of Pentacles is Aries and Taurus. I got these switched. This is Aries and Taurus, and this is Leo and Cancer. That's so messed up. Whatever, I read it wrong, it's fine. It's giving a little bit of, like, it's sort of like, am I destined for everything to suck all the time? The Hermit, 9 inverted, looking like a 6. Archangel Ratziel. Spend time in quiet meditation, spiritual teaching, and self-discovery. This is Virgo energy. Air. Hermit inverted tells me that I'm coming out of solitude. There's an aspect of maturity there too. If you have this sort of youth energy inverted, it does give a sense of maturity. And if you think of Six of Cups too, there's like usually two little kids there, and you could say, well, there's this aspect of both my masculine side and my feminine side are being called to mature. It's not like I've only been working on one, right? It's like I think of myself as a little girl. But there's an aspect of me that's also a little boy. And I want to heal that aspect. And then I'll be balanced in the maturation. With a contract here with the Taurus energy, I think it goes back to that idea of what am I manifesting for? You know, like what's in my contract? But it's not like a regular contract, like, oh, I borrowed money and now I have to pay interest on it. It's, my contract is that I'm here to achieve a certain goal. And I've been doing not that. So if I tell myself that my goal is this, then I'll have a point of focus. And things will come back into alignment. You know, like I got new glasses and now things are focused. Interesting. The Hermit is glasses. Okay. Judy in disguise with glasses. Gemini. And this is at a weird angle. I must have moved the rock. Where's my marker to tell me where I was in focus? Put it back. Put it back! Okay. Okay. No. Still no, but alright. This was like this way. Page of Swords. Which I have assigned Uranus energy, Earth of Air. Okay, so if he's Earth of Air, he's like trying to leap off the cliff, but he's chained to the ground. Like, oh, I tripped. Like, bitches be tripping. You know, like I'm lopsided. This is heavy. Like I want to think, I want to think this, but my brain keeps replaying this, right? There's a broken record, my ego in my head being like, you suck. And I'm like, no, I don't. And your ego's like, you suck. And I'm like, fucking A. Alright. Because the Page of Swords is trying to expand their thinking. They're like, this is like all this weight of thought over here. But I'm like, hey, if I look over here, things look a little clearer. Like, let me practice having those thoughts. You know, and that's the whole thing of healing, right? The Lovers is a choice. It's also healing. So it's like I'm healing the way that I think, but I'm struggling to swing this new idea around in my head. So we have the Tower. We have a 6 here. This is 11. With a 19, which breaks down to 10, which would be a 1 and a 0, which is where that sequence starts. If I take the 11 and the 6 and the difference is 5, that's part of the sequence 2. We see that the numbers sort of fold in and out of each other. Like a hypercube. Six of Swords is sailing away from the bullshit. This tower here represents bureaucracy. Well-established thoughts, concepts, mental archetypes. But I'm like, this isn't helping me. This is sort of trapping me in the basement, and I'm trying to break away from it. And we see that this is sort of spelling out the same idea in a slightly different way. You know, it's like hard to, you know, take the elevator to the floor that you've never been on. It's sort of programmed into your body, and your very cells are sort of resisting. And even the idea of cells, right? It's like I'm trapped in there. If I'm stuck within the walls, then there's no, you know, cytokinesis. There's no cell growth. Like, there's no expansion. Cell growth. What's this upside down? Whatever. It's the Emperor, which is what I was talking about with Aries. Archangel Michael. Organization and logic, structure and discipline, leadership. I mean, the bureaucracy is structure, but there's not necessarily organization and logic. I mean, this may as well be a McMansion. Does any of that go with itself? It gets a little carried away. Like, you can be disciplined in your thinking, but that also includes, like, reeling it in when it gets a little crazy. So far, this idea of, you know, like, everything sucks, everything, like, nothing's gonna change, I'm on the broken record. It's like, that's not necessarily discipline. That's just, I'm just gonna stay here because I'm here. You know, it's like, the discipline comes in where you say, like, I'm doing it. I'm holding myself to a better standard for me. Like, I'm taking the lead and saying, I'm going to make a difference for me. And a point between the Page of Swords, who's like, I don't know how to swing these ideas around, to the Emperor, who has mastered the air realm in order to be there, right? He's sort of like the Pendragon. He's the King of Kings. He's mastered the martial art of thinking. But it's not quite there yet. You know, it's like, I want to be more in control of myself. And we see sort of with Gemini energy, it's sort of like I'm fighting with myself. Right? Me and my shadow. Like the angel and the devil on my shoulder. But we do have healing here because it's sort of recognizing the idea of I am allowed to think differently. And I'm trying to gain the willpower to do so. Alright, so I am back from intermission for me, which was about 5 hours. Well, actually, it's been 6 hours because I broke for lunch, and then I was tired, so I was like, well, I'll take a nap instead of forcing myself to work. Practice a little bit of self-care. And I passed out for like 4 hours, and then it just took me like another hour to get myself together. And in the interim, I've gotten the mail today, and this card from the University of New Hampshire came, because I am an alumni, and they've got a show, or whatever, going on in the Museum of Art, because they have a little bitty museum attached to the side of the Paul Creative Arts Center. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to throw this out. And I was like, wait, I'll cut these out and I'll stick them in my chapbook packs. That'll be fun for people. And then I get over here, so this picture, I get over here and I'm like, holy crap, Grant Drumholler. He was one of my teachers when I was in college, for intermediate drawing. I was like, oh my god! So, shout out and what up to Grant Drumheller. He was a character. I liked him. Okay. So, Cancer. I'll put it over here. Ace of Pentacles, that's nice. It was like reaching for the stars kind of energy. Is that... Oh, I need my music deck. Hold on. Hold on. What the hell is it? Nope. Nope. Still no. Did I take it out? Oh, I did take it out. I gotta do some more card of the day, and I had it in a pile of decks I was gonna use. I want to see if the song I'm thinking about is Ace of Pentacles. It might be Ace of Hearts or something. And, of course, this one is hard to flip through because it's just printer card stock, so it's not slippy at all. But let me just take a minute here. Queen of Pentacles. It might not be the card I think it is, but I've got two. I gotta take a look. I know this anticipation is like too much right here. I was also excited because when I woke up from my nap, I checked my Instagram and I had a lot of messages. And I was like, see, I did self-care and it worked out in my favor. And I went to post, stick one of my posts in my story. And usually when I go to stick a URL on my story, I'm not really paying attention to the other stuff that's around it, but it's moved slightly in the little selection grid. And I noticed that there's one that says music. And I've been wanting to be able to put music on my stuff for a while. And it's probably been there and I just haven't seen it. You know, but something shifted, which is sort of the theme of this, and I was able to see it. The High Priestess. So I was posting a story of one of my new Etsy ads that has Eclair the cat sitting in his chair with all the art on the wall. And the other day I was like, man, I wish I could put Promenade from ELP's Pictures at an Exhibition over this. So I scrolled down the songs for a while, and then I was like, oh, I can search songs. So I searched Promenade, and it gave me the Mussorgsky one. I was like, that's good enough. I don't feel like scrolling through this forever because I really need to get up. Because I was still in bed. So that was really exciting. Anyway, that was my story while I was shuffling through the cards. So this is what this made me think of from my little handmade music deck. Higher Ground by Stevie Wonder. This is actually Ace of Cups, though. But that's what this made me think of. It's like really funky. I think it's the... Well, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I can beatbox. Okay. So this is the bear. So you think of My Cousin Vinny. A boar, a bear, a couple of deer. Heads! So this bear is like a mama bear, and it's like I'm gonna... in my family, when someone is like, you know, balls to the wall, like burning the candle at both ends, like gotta get this stuff to one place. We're getting the pineapples to Hawaii here, because it's something that was in a comedy special that Robin Williams did in 1980. So this is like he protect, he attack. Sometimes he snack too, but in Mama Bear energy. 10 of Wands though is usually like difficulty and burden. You know, it's like I have to do all this stuff. We see number 15, which carries devil energy in regular tarot. But this is inverted. It's this release of burden, right? Things are opening up. And in this case, the bear is in the water. And ideally, if I'm coming out of the water, I'm climbing onto higher ground. So we'll keep that in mind. This is an extra card, but we'll just... Oh, my hand's asleep. I did a lot of driving this week. My ankle hurts now too. Okay. 9 of water. Okay, so there's those cups. This is a countdown, right? 10, 9. I'd expect to see 8. Your wish comes true, concerns fade away, a love for life. 9 of Cups is a dream card. It's sort of matchy-matchy with 9 of Swords, which is a nightmare card. This is like my anxiety is releasing. I'm starting to feel myself. We're coming in Cancer, too. Cancer is, as I know from experience, because I have a Cancer ascendant, talking about higher ground there, you do this sort of worrywart thing. I'm worried about everything. Like, it's feeling kind of heavy. What is that? It's a song lyric. I don't remember which one, though. So it's this idea of, like, releasing heaviness and also this idea of, like, I have to be responsible for everything. It's like letting go of the concern for, like, all the little detailed things that you have to be responsible for. It's like letting the universe put it in your hand. It's sort of a roundabout way of saying that you don't have to micromanage everything in your life, but then there's a gateway opening up. But it's coming on an emotional level. You know, it's like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I know that, you know, I need to co-create with the universe. I need to let it flow. Like, I should know about flow. I'm a water sign. But then it's like, nothing's happening. Like, like, I got to keep the stuff going. Oh, my God. But here, it's like, if you just let yourself tread on the water instead of, like, paddling like you're a friggin' race boat, the waves will bring the thing to you instead of you chasing after it and creating this sort of, like, forward wave that keeps pushing the little ball away from you. Alright, so that's how this sort of overarching theme works for Cancer in particular. I'm going to put this... Did I leave the other... I'm just going to put this one back in my music deck. I'd like to have this available for sale, but my plan was to finish it after the Angel Oracle deck, and you can see how long that's fucking taken me. Alright, Leo. Leo! Alright, Temperance. Sagittarius energy inverted. That makes me think of something going on between Jupiter and Capricorn. Because when you're going away from Sagittarius, usually you're heading towards Capricorn. But specifically, I think it was either going from 2019 to 2020. Although I don't think so, because I don't think I was reading astrology then. I think I started doing astrological readings in, like, April of 2020. So probably the retrogrades, and I think it was like a conjunction or a square or whatever. I think a conjunction. Alignment with Jupiter and Uranus that moved from, like, I think they moved from Capricorn into Aquarius while they were retrograding. I think that's the way it worked. I can't remember what I did, like, 2 days ago, so bear with me there. But there's this idea of Jupiter energy being tied to Capricorn and Aquarian energy. Temperance inverted. Things aren't balanced. I'm losing energy when I switch from one foot to the other. I don't want to say where this example is from, but I was listening to like a LawTube video where they were talking about a particular case where this happened, where the police took a blood sample from a suspect. They took like 8 cc's or whatever the unit is, and when it magically appeared at the crime lab, there was like 6.8 in it. And this is what this makes me think of. Because the angel here is pouring from one cup to the other. And if I put it in this cup here, and it's a closed system, in theory, then when I bring this cup under analysis, it should be the same thing. But there's a loss of content here. There's a loss of energy. It's like there's friction in the system. Alright. So we have the compass, 42, answer to everything, but it's inverted. Alright, I'm out of balance, and I'm heading in the wrong direction. I'm going around in circles. Who sings that? Like I'm going around in circles. So like, is that Billy Preston? I don't know who sings that. I'd have to look it up. I like that song though. You know, it's like when you got a leg injury and you're trying to find your way out of the woods and you keep going around in a circle because you're sort of limping and it's dragging you around because this side's going slower. It's like an out of sequence. Like the tires are out of alignment in the car. The left tires are wearing out faster. I'm not getting my money's worth. 5 of water, 5 of cups inverted. 5 of cups is like I'm bereft, but it's inverted. So upright it says, things not turning out the way you'd hoped, not seeing the positive in a situation, crying over spilled milk. That would be like an irrational fear, like everything's wrecked. There's 3 cups that are messed up, but there's 2 that are still good. And when it's inverted, it's like I'm recognizing that it's salvageable, which is interesting because we've got goods that are buried underwater. And when you bring it up, it's being salvaged. You know, like we've salvaged the wreck of the, you know, Edmund Fitzgerald or whatever. I don't think they brought that up, but still, that's the only ship I could think of right now. And notice too, normally the 5 of cups, there's 2 cups that are good and 3 that are messed up. I almost said, well, whatever. Poison whiskey. By Leonard Skinner. And we see that 23 pattern, 2023, with the High Priestess 2 and the idea of Empress, the 3. So Leo is in their emotions. And the way that Leo has entered their emotions is through Temperance, which is a fire card, but usually has water in it. And a lot of the time, when I see fire inverted, it tells me... Does it tell me water? Sometimes, because it's dried out. A lot of the time, it's earth and fire and air and water for me that tend to be inverted. But sometimes fire and water are invert for me because it's like that hot, cold, dry, wet situation. I guess it depends what I'm doing. We see navigation 2. It's giving me a little bit idea of the stars. But that's what you use to navigate over the ocean. So Leo is in their feelings and they're not used to it because this was so much more eloquent in my head. Circumnavigating the globe, right? Astro Navigation. Why is my brain not working? What the fuck? Using the stars to guide the ship across vast expanses of water. That's what the compass does. But because of friction in Leo's feelings, this like slight imbalance, this woe-begone feeling that's just starting to come through, we see that like 2 and 3, they're not quite at a balance, and there's like a calibration that's slightly out of sync. Although 14, okay, 5 of water, right? Temperance is 14, that breaks down to 5. So I do have 5s on both sides, and it's sort of hobbling around on this number 6. And because this is a spare card in this deck, it's a major arcana in my mind, which would be exactly the Lover's energy, which would be Gemini. So there's healing there, there's a choice there, and the way that this looks, Leo is in their feelings about a relationship with someone else in particular. Now, it could be a relationship with the inner child or their inner self, or between the ego and the feelings, because the ego will pretend to feel, but it's sort of a distortion, right? It could be the snare on your ankle. It does feel like romantic relationship for Leo, though. It doesn't have to be. It can be a relationship to the self or to non-lovers. But the aspect here is, it's kind of like learning to swim. You know, cats don't like the water. But where was the... I had strength in someone else's reading. I think it's over here. Yeah. Okay. The strength card in this angel deck that I'm using has a tiger on it. And tigers do like to swim. And I have the Syrian Starseed Tarot, and that one is also a tiger. So normally we think of Leo as a lion. And lions and tigers are genetically, like, almost... like, they're genetically very similar. There's enough of a difference, though, that the animals are distinct, right? It's kind of like this alignment where it's like, if I'm going to be a lion, I align towards hot, dry, savanna, grassland territory. But if I'm going to be a tiger, then my alignment goes towards, like, jungle, river, marshy kind of energy, where there's more water. And the camera cut out on me, and I don't remember what I said after that, because it was, like, super profound and interesting. But we see that we're coming off of the year of the tiger, where Leo's been in the dunk tank for the last year. And I think that's where this learning to swim energy is coming from. You know, you might have been able to avoid your feelings up until this point in your life. You know, but if you don't deal with the underlying feelings behind your, you know, trauma, or, like, that the ego is fueling itself on, you know, the emotion behind your chronic ailments, you're sort of setting yourself up to something like an ulcer or a nervous breakdown. I went for the nervous breakdown, but I have a Leo moon. I know that's not funny, but, you know, when I'm 40, I can laugh about stuff that happened when I was 26. Let's put it that way. It wasn't funny at the time. But this is how, like, it works for Leo, right? It's like, for 2022, the year of the tiger, the eye of the tiger, the thrill of the fight, tiger's eye stone would probably really help Leo. Also, I don't know where mine went. I feel like it's under my bed, but it could have disappeared of its own volition. You know how stones are. When they're done with you, they either disintegrate or they wander. They go walkabout. That's what's been going on for Leo, and I think we're seeing the explanation of what the last year might have been like for Leo. Right? It's particularly, again, I feel like there's more of a concentration on emotions that need healing related to relationships. Like, I've been wearing this trauma from a relationship like an albatross around my neck and wondering why I keep going around in circles. That kind of thing. And again, it's not specific to relationships, but I'm feeling that a lot. You know, it's like, if every day's a sunny day, then what's a sunny day? You know, sometimes Leo needs to have a little rainstorm to make the world a little sparkly again. So we'll leave that one there. Oh, I just heard Summertime Blues. Is that Eddie Cochran? It might be. That was mentioned in that video too, because the guy said had like an earworm. Because if you're looking at this in terms of time instead of your sign, we have like January, February, March, April. No, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, right? Summertime blues. So, and again, it might be like Leo isn't gonna feel sad until their birthday, right? It's my party and I'll cry if I want to. Alright, so let's do Virgo. Virgo. Which I feel like is something that was said in one of those Looney Tunes things again. So we'll look at my off-brand arachnid rabbit again for Virgo. Knock these down so they're not standing up as much. Alright, so we got arachnid rabbit here, right? We're doing the year of the rabbit. Oh man, that's so stupid. The Hangman. I was gonna say this is like Virgo adjacent, even though this is 12. The Hanged Man. I just heard I gotta get my head on straight. Virgo is ruling of the Hermit. I don't know why I said it like this. Hangman is Sagittarius energy. There does seem to be a lot of that kind of flapping around in and out, like a little weave here in the threaded through these readings. But, I mean, it's sort of like my luck is changing. That's kind of an overall theme as well. So there is a little bit of Sagittarius there. But, you know, you think that Virgo would be the Hermit for a long time. Like, deep, like, I'm in, like, I've retreated into myself. I'm thinking, I don't want anyone bothering me, like, you know, I'm doing self-care, go away. I'm not taking callers at this time. If you would like to reach me, you can reach me between the hours of 2 and 2:15 every second Wednesday. The Hangman is like, I've got a migraine, but it's also giving me bitches be trippin', which I think I got for somebody else. I'm stuck and I can't move. I'm waiting for downloads from the universe. So it's like I've looked within, but now I'm trying to look without, and I'm waiting for a signal. It's kind of the precursor to the High Priestess. This is like, I'm not getting anything. Like, I'm waiting for my acceptance letter from college to come in. That kind of thing. Like, I don't know what, I have to wait to hear back to know what I'm doing. So we have the Anchor, right? I'm not settled anywhere. I'm floating around out here. This is inverted, though. 9 of Swords. And the idea would be like, oh, there's some anxiety while I'm like, biting my nails waiting to hear back from something. Notice I have 35 here. I have that 5 energy and then the 3 that should be the Empress. But it's coming in inverted. It's like it's kind of like I'm waiting to grow up. Because a 12 tells me that I want to be like in a queen level where I'm sort of over my domain, but I'm a knight level where I'm still kind of running around like all over the place. Although the hangman is usually a knight inverted, which is someone who's not going anywhere. Nine of Swords inverted is like a nightmare is over. The fact that the anchor is seen means to me like, oh, something's coming. Right? Because you wouldn't take out the anchor unless you're trying to go somewhere. But if the anchor's like by itself, it's like, oh no, we've lost the anchor, we're adrift. But again, there's this idea, it's sort of like dreamy. Like it's not like stressing me out, but I'm kind of groggy. I'm sleepy. I'm kind of drifting around in my head. I don't have a clear idea. It's sort of like brainstorming here. 7 of Water. A complex decision, the need to do research, stop procrastinating. This is distractions. But some people say it's options. And in this case, I do think it's options. Right? I'm weighing my options. I've applied to 6 different colleges, and it cost me like somewhere between like 20 and 40 bucks each to apply there. It's expensive as hell, and I have to decide which one I'm going to sign my life away to for the next 30 years while I pay this shit off. But I need to research which one I'm going to go to because I got accepted to like 3 of them. And I'm waiting for some kind of sign to tell me which one of the flashy things is the one that I want. And that's interesting, too, because Virgo season is kind of when people go to college. Your mom goes to college. Alright, this is July, August. This is August, September. Do you remember the 25th day of September? The 23rd day? I think it is. Maybe it's the 25th. Anyway. It really hitting those 70s funky disco-y kind of songs for the earworms today, but it's just weird to me that Leo's message was sort of more specific onto like romantic relationships instead of like what's going on in general. But Virgo seems very specific about something that feels like going to college. It could be getting a new job or applying for like work-related training, applying to different hospitals as like a traveling nurse or whatever. I'm applying to different universities for a tenure, professorship, or sabbatical or whatever. It's like I'm not quite sure what I want to do entirely, right? I might be applying to, like, hospitality job. I might be applying to, like, waste management, or I might be applying to, like, the diner down the street. I might be trying to get into... It's like I might be trying to get my kid into preschool and they're like a minute old. It's really is that kind of energy. And again, a lot of those things start up in the fall. Oh, I'm applying to be the secretary in the office, in the admissions office at the college. Interesting. There's other things that could fit into that template that aren't like work and school related, you know, because it could sound like your situation for one that I haven't listed, but it does have to do with this sort of, like, I'm in limbo right now because I need to figure out which possibility out of 7 or less possibilities is the one that I need to do. And I don't know which path would be the best one to follow because I applied for 2 different majors at 7 places, and now I could do, my brain just said Chinese aphrodisiac cooking. Thank you, the Witches of Eastwick. You know, at 2 schools, or I'm gonna do, like, medical engineering at the other one, and I have to pick, like, what my life is gonna be. Like, when I went to college, I had wanted to be a paleontologist since I was 5. And out of, like, the 2 colleges that I got into, it was either, like, 5 years of really expensive science classes in Boston, or in-state school for art that you could pretend to afford. So for me, there wasn't really a lot of choice there, but for some people, it could be, like, that different, but a few more options. All right. I think that's kind of beating that dead horse enough to where it makes sense. So, and it's sort of taking place over the energy of the whole year for Virgo, or very specifically at this point in time, because you can take on any of these energies in general, depending on, like, what time of year it is or where the ruling planet is, or it could come up at a certain time. Or it might not be for you at all. You might hit that energy in, like, 3 years and be like, hey, I remember that. Okay, so we have Libra, and we're getting into September, October, I think. Yeah, the end of September. The beginning of October. Libra. 6 of Pentacles inverted. Okay, so in my music deck, the 6 of Pentacles is the right garden. Right, I'm planting my seeds in a soil that's right for their needs, right? It's not too acidic, there's enough moisture, that kind of stuff. I mean, when it's upright normally, in a normal tarot, you're like, oh, okay, I'm financially stable enough where I'm able to be generous to other people, right? It's flowing and I'm not hoarding. Here, this looks like malignant growth, like a cancer. That's kind of freaky. I mean, hopefully people aren't getting cancer. I mean, my cat has breast cancer right now. She's not gonna be with us much longer, but that's, like, right now. This is, like, next year. And she is... Oh, she is a Libra. Wait, no, she's a Scorpio. Early November. She's a Scorpio. Anyway, what is the 6 of Pentacles? What the fuck am I doing? The moon in Taurus. Okay. Yeah, it's giving a little bit nightmare. Okay, let's see what these other cards are. This is a little bit weird. So 21, the Mountain. There's a 3 energy. It's giving me the Magician and the High Priestess. 8 of Wands is usually that fast communication or fast movement. Oh, okay, yeah. Cancer is spiraling out of control. The Mountain is the hurdle, right? It's a challenge. It's the climax of the film. It's the top of the bell curve. It's the limit of growth. which is kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of the whole thing. Right, the limit of growth. And we see this too because if I'm 21, right, I'm doing the Fibonacci sequence backwards, right? It's 0, 1, 1, 2. And I see, like, I'm sort of backwards. I'm, like, expanding in the wrong direction. I'm, like, there's, like, a contraction that way. It's like I'm shrinking. My profit margin is shrinking. Which is weird because if I'm thinking about it in terms of, like, physically Cancer, it'd be sort of like the ratio of healthy cells is shrinking. Like each one of these coins would be a cell. And it would be a ratio. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him a ratio. 7 of Earth. So I have the 6 and the 7. Interesting. Says seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, unnecessary worry. Right? Because I was getting this, what was I getting? I was going to say I was getting stress for somebody, like anxiety, but that might have been for Virgo. Notice how this tree is sort of like gnarly and going in every direction. It looks like a neuron. Goddamn. Was that inverted or was it upright? I think it was upright. I have a death cycle. I want to get an extra card for Libra because this is kind of weird. Okay, I guess it's coming from the Lenormand. And of course, in Libra with sort of the growth, sort of uncontrollable growth where I don't want it, I have to have an extra card. This is kind of sideways. So we have the Lilies, number 30 with the King of Swords. This is like irrational thoughts. Because the King of Swords is clear of mind. I'm trying to clear my mind, but I'm having a hard time distinguishing between reality and something that looks nice. So this is like, it's like I'm frustrated and impatient because, well, that's not really impatience though. It's like I'm frustrated with my growth thus far because what I have doesn't look like what everyone else has. Like, I'm doing the things, why isn't it working? And we're trying to overcome that. Right? Because the challenge, the tipping point is I'm trying to grow what someone else is doing in my garden instead of trying to grow my stuff in my garden. You know, it's like that thing where if you grow your own vegetables, you're getting the nutrients from the soil where you live. It's kind of like when you eat local honey, it helps you with the allergies for the pollen that's in your area. You know, it's like if I grow, metaphorically, if I'm growing in my own garden, my seeds, then I'm acting in harmony with the vibrations where I'm at. And that's when the growth is going to happen. That's when you get to the top of the roller coaster and come shooting back down because it's kind of like I gotta climb to the top of the mountain to pick this flower that I need for this like special medicine that's only available here. And then once I have it, I'm gonna like come back in a hurry. I'm also getting like the Lord of the Rings, right? They gotta climb the fucking mountain to throw the ring, And then after this, like, long, ridiculous journey, they finally get to go home. And again, it's like, it's not, like, literally a mountain. It's just this sort of, impossible task. The general idea for Libra is to realize that the thoughts about why it's working for someone else and not for you, the reality versus the Instagram stories of somebody else, is you need to grow your personal seed, whether it's like literally you want to do some micro farming, or you know, my little business, my personal goals, right? It's like, don't be somebody else, be yourself, because you're the only one that can do it. Put effort into cultivating that which comes naturally from you, that which you truly desire. Because we do have passion here. What moves you? Focus on that, not what it looks like you should be doing based on what everyone else is doing, or what everyone else thinks or says. All right, so Scorpio. Ace of Cups. All right, water sign, get it. Is it kind of in focus? I had to change the battery, so sucking all the power out of there. Okay. Ace of Cups with the waterfall and the snacks. It just made me think of Trixie and Katya, where I think it was Trixie said to Katya, they were trying they were taste testing a bucket of communion wafers, and she's like, "You're hogging the body of Christ." Alright. So we have 38, the bridge, inverted. 3 and 8 are both numbers in the Fibonacci sequence. They break down to 11, which is that 1-1 that sort of starts the sequence. I have major arcana energy here, and some decks 8 is strength, some some decks 8 is strength, some decks 8 is justice. And when they're switched, one is 8 and one is 11, and the difference between them is 3. So those cards are always tied together. This is like, I'm building a bridge, I'm connecting with people. Things, you know, like, we're spanning distances. Here, it's like, I'm burning my bridges before I cross them. The bridge is out! It also makes me think of the movie Sneakers, where they figure out where the guy was kidnapped to based on the way the bridge sounds. Alright, spoiler alert there. We have 15, which is Capricorn or Devil energy, and in this deck it's called Ego. So you have Archangel Jophiel. It says, a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts, which is kind of an overall theme for this. But we have Devil energy, 15, breaking down to 6, which can be Gemini again. And then we have this bridge energy hopping between 8 and 11. And then we have the Ace of Cups. It's kind of like I've gone so far on this journey, on this spiral, with my ego, but all of a sudden I gain this emotional clarity, and I'm burning down this bridge to continue on this ego path, and I'm restarting a sequence that's more in line. And when I do that, I'm at 11, which is, you know, because Ace is 1, right? And I want to start, so I go 1, 1. And what's interesting too is that I'm like, well, what about the 0? Well, this character is the same guy that's on the Fool card in this deck. So the 0 is sort of unspoken. And we have 6, which comes in at healing, right? An ego healing, an emotional breakthrough, right? What's the breakthrough? I've broken down this bridge that's connecting me to toxic behavior. I was just thinking, I watched Anna and the King recently. I saw that movie like a long time ago when it came out. And aside from the fact that I was like surprised because Tom Felton was in it before he was in Harry Potter, the scene that stood out to me a little bit, at least in this, is at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, the bad guy is trying to depose the royal family, and they're coming after them with the army and everything. And they've sort of chased them into a corner, and there's at least temporary victory for the royal family because Jodie Foster's character blows the war trumpet, and to make it sound like they have an army instead of like 4 people, and they managed to have enough time to rig up the bridge and shoot off a bunch of fireworks, and they blow up the bridge so the bad guys can't get them. Anyway, that's kind of a fumbling explanation for that, but that's kind of what Scorpio's doing. It's not like a running away, it's a clarity and a healing of the ego. This sort of purity of feeling, this opening of the heart chakra, let's put it that way. I'm clearing the debris. It's getting my heart chakra is getting blown open. Let's put it that way. Scorpio. Okay. Sagittarius. More people. I got like 3 planets at least in Sagittarius. Oh my God. Alright. So we have the sun. The sun. Sun inverted tells me moon energy. We kind of started out with that, like with the High Priestess. It's a cloudy day in the neighborhood. 18 inverted. Wait, is that 8? Yeah. No, 19. What the hell? 19 inverted, which breaks down to 10. But inverted, it tells me 0, 1. Oh, that's interesting. The beginning of a new day starts... We start the clock at midnight when it's still dark out. This is before sunrise. Before the sun rises on the 3rd day, if the prince hasn't kissed you, you're turning into sea foam. Oh, speaking of... The sarcophagus. So we have 8. That's that infinity number again. That came up in other sections. If you haven't watched this whole thing, check out Aquarius and Pisces. So you have 9 of Pentacles, which is sort of like all the single ladies card, but it's also like my ends are meeting pretty well. I'm doing okay for myself. But this sarcophagus has to do with like healing and resurrection. And here... This is showing me, again, it's giving me nighttime because, what is it in Egyptian mythology? Every night, what is it? Every night, Set comes in and kills his brother Osiris, or is it, does he do Horus or does he do Osiris? Either way, no, maybe it's Ra. Maybe he comes in and kills Ra, the sun god, every night. It's kind of like a haunting where it's not like a conscious haunting. It's just sort of like a tape that plays over and over again. So like every night at between like midnight and 9 a.m. at some point you'll see these two come chasing each other around like they're like a cuckoo clock, right? Like it comes out and it's like cuckoo, and then it comes back in. That's what that is, that scene of the the moon god coming in every night and killing the sun god, and then in the morning when the sun rises, the sun god has triumphed over the evil night god. Hopefully YouTube won't fucking take this down because of that. I don't like censoring myself either. Especially when I'm talking about mythology. Alright, so we have the Knight of Air. Intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options. Creative solutions. The Knight is a 12. Oh, notice it's the Knight. The Knight of Air. It's a pun. It's giving me like Blackmore's Night, or like, like Smoke on the Water. I think there's a song by Blackmore's Night that's just called Black Knight. My brain isn't working, so I don't know. Knight of Air. What is his energy? There, whatever. It's usually drawn as a masculine, so we'll just say he. Because, you know, the page is usually, well, the page and the queen tend to take on feminine energy. I know I kind of mumbled that, but there's like a little bubble coming out of my mouth, and I didn't want to make a weird popping noise. Knight of Swords, Fire of Air, Taurus and Gemini. Oh, that goes back to me talking about the difference between 2022 and Gemini, and this idea of this 5 of the 2 and 3 together. Technically, we're on year 7 because you have 2023, right? Bringing it to Chariot energy. But for some reason, the readings to me are giving me the 23 without the other 2. It's like a little energy cookie sandwich, right? The pasty sugar filling is 2022 with that Gemini lovers healing choice energy, and then the cookie sandwich parts are this Hierophant energy number 5. This 2021 2021 equals 5, and then we're only looking at the 23 here. But what does that mean for Sagittarius? What is the 9 of Pentacles? Something in Virgo. Mercury in... Wait, no. Venus in Virgo. Oh. Hierophant is Venus energy. So this is carrying a lower vibration of the Empress, which is the mate to the High Priestess to make the 5. What is the Sun is Leo. Night is 12. That breaks down to 3. That's also giving a nod towards the Empress. The Sun doesn't necessarily move faster. What? That's weird. Okay. The night seems to go move faster because you're asleep during it, normally. Normal people are sleeping at night. The normies. The daywalkers are sleeping at night. And the night seems shorter than the day because they're not conscious for it. It's moving faster. This is talking about... Why is this talking about variable timescales? Your dreams are seeking the light of day. Let me turn these so I can look at them. Not that that's going to help, but... Do I want another card? I want another card for this. This is kind of weird. I would say that if somebody knows exactly what a card means, like the instant they flip it over, then they're probably full of shit and they probably had something pre-planned to say anyway. Or they have like 2 standard definitions and they pick one. Because it's not always like, oh, that makes perfect sense the second I look at it. Sometimes you have to take a little journey and clarify what stuff means. Because I'm not claiming to know, like, every single thing about every situation. I know it's a little bit of a dig at other people, but, you know, the Fool. What the F? Yeah, that's Daybreak again. I think some of this has to do with the time of year. Sagittarius is, in the northern hemisphere, is like the darkest season of the year. And, you know, that November, December. But this is looking at a time where we're opening, we're trying to get to daybreak. The sun is coming in faster. Which is kind of where we're heading in time now, because we're in a new year and we're heading in the general direction of more daylight every day because of the tilt of the earth. This isn't really explaining very well. I just heard a little bit of Roy Orbison in Dreams. So for some reason, we're doing a dream interpretation for Sagittarius. This stuff is like, these two cards is like, oh, we're in the dark here, but the Knight of Air is like full speed ahead. Like, okay, I got another couple cards here. So I have the Tower paired with the Four of Wands. This is fire energy. It says like Mars energy. And what the hell is that? Oh, Venus and Aries. Okay. So that would be the Empress with the Emperor. And then we have a turret here. And then we have the big tower. Very phallic. Oh, that reminds me of Isis and Osiris, right? Osiris got chopped up into fractions, and then Isis had to like make him a new set of junk so that she could have Horus, who is a sun god, and Horus had also born December 25th as a sun god, descends below the horizon and then at the end of Sagittarius, and then 3 days later pops back up above the horizon with the sunrise. And it's like, yay, now it's going to be brighter. And like, crap, it's all dark. There doesn't seem to be any other message here than things are getting lighter in a hurry. And it feels like Sagittarius is being compared to Horus and or Ra and or Osiris. I'm being deconstructed every night, and I'm waking up every morning. Like, every day is a brand new day as long as you're alive. This is a little bit obscure. And I think it's sort of giving this idea that, Sagittarius might be like, well, why does everything suck for me? Like, every time I think I'm finally getting a little bit lighter in my loafers, like, some other crap happens and cuts me off at the knees, and now my life is dark again. Like, why is every night a tower moment? Like, can't I just have something, like, this is why I can't have nice things. But at least at this point in time, Sagittarius is getting the message. Things are moving. Because this is the Knight of Air, I think it has a lot to do with the shift in thought pattern. It's like my perception is becoming more abundant. Oh, okay. It took a while to get here. Sagittarius is coming out of a mental place of ego of lack. Right? It's like, why, like, I'm not going to get any further because I'm going through a death cycle every night. But now the Knight is saying, I am rapidly changing my pattern of thought. And it's setting up for the more daylight. With daylight come and me one go home. With the Beetlejuice version. So this is, it's like, you know, they have the baby here, right? It's like, I'm no spring chicken. Like, I've been around a few years, but now I'm finally figuring out, like, I'm going to be getting a little bit of warmth in my life. The sun is like the, kind of frolicking in the fields because I'm having a good time energy. And it's saying, like, and again, I said this day is starting at midnight, right? We're setting the clock, the day is starting in the middle of the night. So the sun hasn't risen yet. But I found a different spot on the horizon to look at. I'm looking ahead. I'm not, like, looking behind me and being like, woe is me, like, I'm trapped in this comic cycle. Every time the clock chimes, I'm out here like, cuckoo, and doing this same stupid play. So I've gotten a different role now. I've studied in my brain, and now I'm going to be the main character instead of a supporting character in my own life. Sagittarius. Alrighty then, Capricorn. I think I've got 4 placements in Capricorn. Sun, Moon, Venus, and Lilith. I feel like there's another one. Might be 5, but it's at least those ones. Alright. 5 of Cups. Who else had 5 of Cups? Leo had 5 of Cups. This is, I am bereft, all my shit is spilled, and I'm not looking at what I've still got. I put my sad rags on. But notice we have a 5. We have that, like a, what we're going to call a low vibration of the Hierophant. 5 is a shift or a pivot. Here we see, like, I haven't really shifted yet. I'm still having a pity party. The Moon. The Moon! 8 of Cups. So 8 of Cups and 5 of Cups kind of go together. And if we're doing the Fibonacci sequence, right? First we have 5 and then we have 8. Right? 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. 13. So we should be expecting a death cycle here. The Moon in the Lenormand deck can be notoriety. It can be like, do you hear that, you slimes? I'm famous. But it can also be regular moon energy. It can also be phases. We have I guess that's an astrolabe down there. And notice that it's number 32, right? We're dealing with that 3 and 2 again. This is like the sequence going backwards, but it still has part of that sequence on it, right? 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. And it's the 3 and the 2, the High Priestess and the Empress smashing together to do the Hierophant, the 5, the union of material and spiritual. And we're doing it with this feminine energy. The Moon is feminine energy as well. And it's because we're trying to give birth to something. We're trying to create and generate something new for ourselves. I'm trying to manifest into the physical world something that's has a spiritual element. There's a consciousness attached to it. What's Eight of Cups specifically? Something in Scorpio. No. Pisces. Wrong. Jupiter in Pisces for Eight of Cups. Five of Cups is Mars in Scorpio. Okay. So we have fire and water together. That's interesting. It's like temperance, but it's out of balance. The Eight of Cups is usually I'm walking away from that which doesn't serve me anymore. Here, I'm still kind of dipping into the poison. So now I have Two of Air. So this is the low vibration of the High Priestess. This is a low vibration of the Hierophant. Two of Air, being unable or unwilling to make a decision, a stalemate, pretending there is no problem. Here, it's sort of like all I'm seeing is the problem. Or it's like, I'm fine, like I don't need to change anything. I'm probably going to have to get another card for this one, too. Let me see. I think this is this one. Let me see what the angel deck is going to give me, because I don't want to be doing like a million extra cards here. This reading is going to be really long. Alright, I guess I'm just supposed to get the bottom of the deck. Four of Cups. Oh, this is the Moon card. The Moon in Cancer. This is apathy. So this again would, if there's apathy, it's sort of like this idea of like not addressing a problem. It says missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. Four of Water is usually, or is it? No, that's the Four of Pentacles, isn't it? No, it has to be. Where the hell? Let me get the regular Four of Cups. No, it has to be Cups because he's holding a cup. I get an argument with myself about what I can remember. Give me the Four of Cups. Four of Cups. It's a green card, not a yellow one. Where is that little bastard? Maybe it is a yellow card. I'm gonna be annoyed if that card is missing. Maybe I went through them too fast. Hold on. Oh, here he is. It is green. Just not in the part I was looking at. Okay. So this is the same card in this deck. Right? He's like, I don't like these cups, so this one's probably going to suck too. And it's sort of answering this card. Right? My cups are broken, but also they all tasted bad. I'm sad because every cup I've ever gotten has been disappointing. But it's saying the universe is like, I'm giving you a card, motherfucker, like, take it. And you're like, no, I'm Ryan Gosling and I'm not eating my cereal. But there's these two cups here that are, like, still good. And it's just this, like, sort of, it's kind of like a refusal to acknowledge. Like, I'm still kind of drinking the poison here. Two of Air is like I'm trying to get a different perspective. Oh, I've got the... Do I have... No, I didn't keep the book in here. Alright, I'm not gonna worry about that. It's just this, the Moon in Libra. The Moon in Libra, the Moon card, and the Moon card. But with a little bit of fire and scorpionic energy. Oh, Capricorn is emotionally burnt out and is having a hard time seeing things from another perspective. I'd rather feel nothing than feel sad. But I want to I want to be sparkly, and I want someone to pay attention to me. I'm the center of my universe, but I'm in a dark place. And I'm struggling. And we would hope that Capricorn wouldn't still be in that phase when we get to birthday time again. You know, like, we don't want another sad birthday. We want to have a happy birthday. And I think to acknowledge this emotional trauma is to say, what would happen if you just turned around and looked at something else? What if you let go of all this pain and said, I don't have to keep drinking the pain? You know, like, woe is me, like, nobody likes me, like, I'm broke and busted. What's that Ray Charles song? It's not Hit the Road Jack. I think it's just called I'm Busted. He goes around to his brother and is like, hey man, can you help me out? And his brother's like, I don't remember if his brother says his wife says no, or if he's like, I'm busted too, but that's kind of the general vibe there. But Capricorn is the watery earth sign. You know, if your industry and your desire and your work ethic to manifest isn't going anywhere, there's nothing, like, if the abundance isn't coming in, if there's no growth, if things seem to be poison when you create them, it's sort of like, what am I, a leper? You know, like, nobody loves me kind of sensation. You know, like I'm all sparkly, like, why isn't, you know, like why am I a D-list celebrity? Like, I should be, you know, it's not an ego thing either. It's like, I'm doing all this work, why am I not getting ahead kind of energy? Because Capricorn has this very watery aspect. Especially because Capricorn's dark side is literally the moon. Right? Cancer and Capricorn are opposites. So if you want to say, like, oh, Capricorn is standing on their head, they're not themselves today, they might end up behaving like Cancer's dark side in particular. Right? Like, Cancer's dark side might be like, oh, I'm not very feely right now, I'm being a workaholic. And you see how that goes backwards and forwards, because everyone has these sort of duality aspects. So I think what's important for Capricorn to be realizing in 2022 is that sometimes all it takes to gain a new perspective, to see something at a different angle, is to literally, like, turn around. Is that... Oh, it's Total Eclipse of the Heart, where Bonnie Tyler is singing Turn Around Bright Eyes. Which makes sense, too, because we're very much in the feels. Or we want to feel nothing, right? And when we think of eclipse, we think of the moon. It's a little bit of Capricorn being kind of overthinking things while also, but coming from the heart center. Like, I'm overthinking things, but it's coming, like, everything I say is emotionally charged. And it's not quite like having a tantrum, it's like sobbing, crying, panic attack, shrieking kind of energy. But when anybody's looking, when someone's watching me or sees me, I'm just going to pretend like I feel nothing. I'm going to put on a nothing face. So that's what Capricorn is resolving this year. Like emotional overdrive. We want to back that down before it ruins the engine, kind of a thing. Okay? So that's what's going on with this year. When I did a station break earlier, and I think I had to change the battery the first time, I decided to put out some of my things. I'll just put this stupid guy back in here. Alright, so if you want this terrible rabbit drawing for your own personal amusement, let me know. And we'll, you know, can throw a couple bucks at me for shipping, and we'll get them in the mail in like a manila envelope. So the other stuff I brought out that I have is I do have singles still, but you can get a deck of chapbook packs, which is normally where I would stick him, cut him up to use as an envelope, or chop him down and fold him up and put him in there. I have the foam lotuses. These ones are for sale. I've got the other. These ones are necklaces, which I don't have anymore, but you can get keychains, which are going to look an awful lot like this, but I think they're a little bigger. They should be bigger. I've got Redbubble now. There we go. This is for my cafe press. These travel mugs are awesome. I love them. This one has my come together thing that I made on carved mat board, which is also on the cover of my Energy Forms coloring book, and more of the singles. This one was for Halloween. That's the little Frankenstein one. And I have a charcoal one and a chocolate one, and there's a yellow one too, and then there's a candy corn one left, I think. So that's some of the stuff that's available on Cafe Press and Etsy. There's mugs like this on Redbubble too, and on those ones the image wraps all the way around, but that one's from Cafe Press. And I got t-shirts and stuff too. So anyway, if you want any of that, it's available. You can find all my stuff through the link tree. That's linktr.ee/cattheminion. If you want to get a tarot reading, you can contact me. I'll get my email behind here. That's the cat came back at camp@gmail.com, and all the information is also going to be below in the description box. With the contact information and tarot pricing. I'm working on going back through all of my videos and updating that, and I'm working on updating my little WordPress website too, so that information makes more sense. Always doing the work little bits at a time. So, and check out Card of the Day on social media. Little short videos under a minute for the day-to-day stuff. All right. So check all that out. Take it easy, stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.